Right, so 'n Tempo L op AgriTechnica. Lasse gaan my meer vertel. Check hy planter daar agter, né? En hulle het 'n update gedoen op Väderstad se row units. Daar's 'n paar goedjies wat verander het en daai lekker nommers. Strap 'n bietjie daai planter deur van hoek tot kant. Dis hierdie actually vir jou opsie. Kom ons luister. Lasse, how are you doing?
Quite good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you. I'm standing here in front from one of our Tempo L planters.
Yes.
This machine is a 9-meter working with, having a 3 cubic meter fertilizer hopper, and additional we call it biodrill. So for some
a what?
A biodrill we call it.
A biodrill, yeah.
Yes. So most likely we can have a third product in here, like some pesticide, some microgranulate, which we can transport with pneumatic air to the bag and place within the seeds in the seed furrow.
So that's basically in South Africa we talk about a pop-up.
Exactly.
So that's basically what that then is.
Yes.
Okay. So explain to me quickly. Let's step a bit back here. If I look at the layout of the planter, if they were wondering this, today there's a lot of people here. Hey? Just explain to me quickly the layout of the planter, how does it fold up, and why did you do the stuff the way that you did it?
Yes. So most likely the planter is connected to the tractor's hitch, quite easy to connect. We have some hydraulic hoses, we have an isobus connection to the tractor for controlling, operating the planter. We have here this additional or optional biodrill for those microgranulate pesticides, whatever, if you would like to apply them, it's an option. We have a fertilizer hopper, depending on type. We can have a 3 or 5 cubic meter fertilizer hopper to apply dry fertilizer with the culture side bend to the row unit, so most like 5 centimeters off to the seed furrow and some centimeters more deep. This has a fan, so we transport the fertilizer pneumatic with some electric driven metering units.
Yes, but is that a fan?
Exactly. For getting.
But you hide it very well, eh?
Yes, exactly. Then we see the arrow comes here. We have electric driven metering units, so we can also use row by row or section shut off using section control, isobus section control from the tractor.
Yeah.
So we do not place fertilizer double on the headland. We can also control the amount of fertilizer by a map, for example, having prescription maps for our field.
And you can do it row by row.
Exactly, row by row, the odd sections, depending on the working width of the planter.
100%. Okay, and then let's get to the back here. So this is basically, it then carries the whole, all your metering units, all the row units are basically
in the back.
In the back. We call it the bulk. I don't know what is that bulk called in English. And then what I want to know is, this planter specifically has got duals on it, okay?
Exactly.
Why did you go that route?
We have a planter with a narrow row distance of 50 centimeters between the rows.
Yes.
And we would like, with this, I would say, heavy planter, having it maybe filled with 5 tons of fertilizer, to not drive with the wheels on a spot where a row is placed.
Yeah.
So wheels will do compaction, no doubt about that. If we would do this compaction in the spot where later seeds are placed, these seeds maybe have a way heavier, way bad, or a way worse start. So therefore we have these dual wheels, which running, if you look from behind, between the rows.
I want to see that. Okay, so even though you are working on a 45,
yes,
it's still.
Exactly, so they will be in a different place, mounted from factory for sure. But we have those wheels, a wheel is 32 centimeters wide, and they will run between the rows. So we never use the wheels running over a row.
I'm with you, that makes complete sense. I mean, because at the end of the day, and it's not about even if the plants emerge, but they need to all emerge at the same time. Otherwise
so it's a more even field later on.
Okay, and then when we just look at I think we're going to discuss the row unit there.
Yes,
that side a little bit better, but just the configuration, I'm guessing if I can get it on 45, I can get it on any configuration I would want.
So for Europe, I'm now bad with South Africa. For Europe, common row distances are 45, 50, 60, 70, 75 centimeters. Those are the most common row distance. Yeah. We see the row units are clamped to a frame, so we can quite easily also move them to reconfigure a row distance. So they are not fixed, they are not welded to the frame, they are clamped to the frame with 3 bolts.
So that is, I love that. Okay.
Yeah. So if you would lose these bolts, you can move this row unit 5 centimeters to the left or to the right side, depending on which row unit it would have.
Yeah, because remember, what's the good of a mind if you can't change it? So, I would actually love to maybe then at some stage, or you're now not stuck in terms of maybe you want to do your soybeans on 75 and your maize on 91 or whatever, then you can also do that. Also another thing here, just in terms of what I'm seeing is, does the airflow come out of the bulk? What do you call this?
Frame,
yeah.
Exactly. So we have one big fan in the middle. You see the black one on top.
Yes.
There we produce a positive air for our seed singulation. That will go inside the frame, so we have less hoses, a more clean machine, and then we'll go here to the row unit, to our seed meter, where we're using positive air to singulate our seeds.
100%. Okay. And then while we're on the planter here, and I mean we'll get to that thing, just tell me in terms of your configuration, I see you've got these fertilizer coaters here in the front.
Exactly. We have fertilizer guiders with a single disc, so we have a lot of force to the guider to reach the right depth, and we can set the depth individually on each guider, and each guider is followed for the contours by a wheel. We call it gauge wheel.
Yeah.
So if you even uneven field conditions, you place the fertilizer always on the right depths. And then from factory, the fertilizer guider is 7 centimeter sideways to the seed furrow, and the depth placement we can set individual, so we place the fertilizer a little deeper compared to the seeds.
100%. Okay, and then you've basically the seed hoppers. You've did a update on that. I don't know if we can get near those ones. Let's see.
We can try.
Let's try and see. You've got the working unit to the side.
So.
Yep.
Here we can see our latest design of the row unit. Most likely an update compared to the row we have since 2013. Idea is to make the whole row unit more user-friendly, easier to set for the operators. Quite often you maybe need to change crops from soybeans to corn, maybe to sunflower, sugar beet, to have easier access to the seed meter, changing a seed plate, for example, doing some settings. And also we put more functions on the row unit, so more electrical function, easily set from the tractor cab. Like we can set the seeding depths. Here we see the electric driven motor for the seeding depths.
So it actually does automatic.
It's now spinning, so we see the gauge wheels change position. So we can set our seeding depths from the tractor cab, for example. We can also set the closing wheel pressure, those 2 wheels which close the seed furrow, with the electric motor from the tractor cab as an option, for example. We have here some automatic downforce, so the weight we apply to the row unit is measured by a load cell and automatically set, so we always reach the right seeding depths.
So that's where the load cell is in there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And this is the normal gauge wheels that you've got now.
Exactly.
You see, now we can see the stuff going. Eh? Okay, so they're from the front, and then this is basically showing on the load cells. It's measuring that thing.
We have always pulled gauge wheels. So here is the point where the gauges are fixed, and then they are pulled, so they are easier, I would say, following contours.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's easier to pull a wheelbarrow than it is to push it. Funnily.
Exactly. Agreed. We have a row cleaner in front for those heavy residues conditions. We can set the row cleaner like the guy is doing now in the depths, so we can move the trash away from our seed furrow to avoid a hairpinning effect in the seed furrow.
And now I must ask. I see where you're going. I'm going to leave my question for later. Right. So you're going to tell me about this wheel.
This wheel we call stop wheel. So this is sitting between the seed discs, and why we shoot the seeds down with positive air.
Now, hold on. Are you shooting the seeds down?
Yes.
Okay, so how does that work?
We have positive air coming from the frame, from the hose we were talking before, to the seed hopper, have positive air in here.
So this thing is always under pressure?
Yes, so if you would have a few seeds left, it would open, the seeds would come out. So you need to power down the fan before.
Okay.
You have positive air pressing our seeds to the seed plate, to each single hole. Here we see a seed disc for corn, for example.
Yeah.
Then here on this point, the seeds will go off from the seed plate, go in this tube here. Here this green LED is a seed counting sensor.
Yeah.
There we count each single seed, displayed in our user interface if we have too much, too less seeds, or hopefully have it properly set. And then with a speed of around 50 km per hour, we shoot the seeds down to the ground. And therefore, we have a stop wheel to also stop the seeds and press it to the soil to have a good seed-to-soil contact.
What's the reason for that? Why would I want to be shooting seeds now?
I would say if you have two seeds, one is heavier and one is lighter. If you drop them at the same time, the heavier seed will go down faster, the lighter seed will go down slower. So there will be a difference. That means a difference in precision, in accuracy from a seed to seed distance.
Until theoretically they reach thermal, or what's that, not thermal velocity, there's a big fancy English word for that.
Gravity?
Yeah, the maximum speed at which it can go, but now terminal velocity, there's the right word. And basically that's what I'm saying when you drop it from space, and you
exactly.
At some stage it will reach terminal velocity, but the heavier one just gets there quicker.
Yeah.
Okay, and what you're doing now is you're evening the odds between because in this space,
it's quite a short distance.
If you shoot it at 50 kilometers an hour, then doesn't matter for that difference in weight. Everyone is in the same spot.
Yes.
Aha. Oh, I get it. Okay. And then you've got this wheel thing
here. This wheel, they are different. Often here we see a spoke one, that's most like the European version. If we would operate the machine in conditions with more trash, we will have a closed one. So there's no risk that some residues or trash can come in between the wheel and block it.
100%. And then at the back here, what do we have here?
Here we have a culture for this micro-allied or pesticide. Here we see it's on a hopper. On this machine we have the central big hopper in the front.
So depending on what you want to do.
What's your option? You can have it either with a small hopper.
I can actually have this and that depending on how much product I want to put down.
If I would have 4 products, I can have both, yes.
Remember, the more the merrier.
So then we can here either apply it within the seed furrow using this culture, or here on top. Maybe some farmers planting oilseed rape, they apply slug pellets to avoid slugs. So those are applied on top, so like here.
Yep. Okay.
And then we have our clothing wheels.
But what I want to know is, why did you put BMX wheels on here?
Huh? Because they look fancy.
Do it? Has it got some trick up its sleeve?
We have different types of those wheels. Smaller ones, wider ones. Those ones a little bit wider ones with those rubber nubs on to have a more open surface. So we would get heavy rain after seeding. We have a more open surface so the water can drain better. Same with those spokes here. They will make little ditches in the soil so the water can come in. And so most likely those setup is for conditions where we have done a lot of tillage before. So most likely some European condition, going with a cultivator, doing some deep cultivation. We could also have smaller ones or way more aggressive one if we would do direct seeding in a heavy amount of trash.
And also I'm guessing that this will help when it sticks into the ground, because if you get with some clay soils, when it's too wet, then the wheel starts to
block or to collect soil. Yes.
Yeah, then it doesn't rotate anymore.
Yeah, that could help. Yes. But the main thing is, I would say, that we have a more open surface if it comes to heavy rain after planting.
Okay, and then just in terms of your, just tell me your precision stuff and whatever. Yeah. Do I just plug this in as an isobus planter? Do I need a separate screen? How does that work?
So we have 2 options. So we can use the isobus screen from the tractor. Here we have an example from another brand. That's not Väderstad, so we have an isobus screen.
Yeah.
Or what we recommend to use, we have an iPad-based solution. So here you can see that's a standard iPad where we have our user interface and you can do all the planter settings.
Yeah.
Then maybe if you would like to do section control, row by row shut off, we're using prescription maps for variation control. We need the tractor isobus screen to interact with our planter, have the maps on, have a GPS antenna to find, I would say, always the right spot on the field.
And what can I do with this planter? Variable rate seeding, fertilizer, whatever, all of the above?
Exactly. So it was a variable rate control for all products. So we can have up to 4 products. We could have for each product a map. Depending on the field areas, have different amount of seeds or fertilizer or whatever. We can do row by row shut off for seeds. We can do sections out of for fertilizer, depending on working with our machine configuration, but always in sections. The same, for example, for microgranulate or pesticide. We can have set the seed index for the tractor cab. We can program our tractor joysticks, like this joy here, for having aux end function. So if we are driving on the field, it's maybe a little bit bumpy. It's sometimes hard to press something on the tractor screen. So we can program it to the joystick buttons to have easy access for those functions.
How wide can I get it?
Up to 12 meters.
Up to 12 meters?
Yes.
So you're telling me 12 meters, and I'll have to go and work that out in terms of how many rows that is.
So it could be 24 rows on a narrow row distance or 16 rows on a wider row distance.
Depending on what you want.
Exactly.
Right, dit is, sien, dan hak ek vas in die Engels in, nee. Dis Lasse hierso van Väderstad in AgriTechnica. Sien, my woorde raak bietjie op hierso. As jy belangstel, kom met Vitamech in kontak, linkie bo of hieronder, nee, daarso, bel hulle hierso, nee. En dan kry ek vir jou 'n Väderstad uit. Hulle het hom net nou gemaak dat hy nog 'n bietjie vinniger plant, nee. Because you can go at speed, hey.
Agree.
Dis die Farmspace af, tot volgende keer. Groete.